there's so many people in this organization that came through and now are the power makers. And in the next 5 years, we will be on the Oscar stages. We will be on the Emmy stages. We will be at the heads of Netflix or Hulu or whatever the case may be in music, in marketing, and so for me, I would say leaving that legacy of like, oh, he made change in whatever environment he was in.
You're listening to HBCU and Entertainment, where diversity, equity, and inclusion refine the future of entertainment. I'm your co-host, Amira Johnson, Alumni and Campus Relations Coordinator at EICOP, and welcome back to another episode. In this episode, we're featuring one of our amazing alumni, Jaylen Wilson, TV Coordinator at John Wells Productions. I can't wait for you to hear more about his journey. With that being said, let's dive into today's conversation. Hi, Jaylen. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Amira?
I'm good. It's so nice to meet you. I'm happy that you can join us so you can just tell everyone a little bit more about your journey and just for any advice, wisdom that you have on your heart that you want to share.
Yeah, so thank you for having me today. My name is Jaylen Wilson. I am fortunate to be a part of the inaugural class of HBCU in LA. And so that has been very instrumental to my success now and also just my life in general. I've made best friends, family, it's indescribable. So I started in the inaugural class and had the opportunity to intern with SAG-AFTRA. And from there, I stayed in contact with Mama Stacy and Papa Ted, and I still do to this day. Graduated from Howard University with my acting degree. So I'm an actor, and that is the field that I'm aspiring to stay in. And then fast forward past COVID, I got an opportunity via email, cold email, for the company I'm at now, and they were in receipt of my resume due to Mama Stacy. So from there, I've been in LA now 3.5 years, coming up on 4, and been at the same company, being able to work in TV and development and learn all about production and producing and all the things I wouldn't know as an actor. So it's been very, very beneficial.
One of the most beautiful things about the program is just like the connections in the community that can come
Oh, yeah.
from it. Yeah, so I'd love to just hear more about the inspiration behind what led you to pursue a career in acting.
I played baseball growing up, and I also was involved in theater growing up as well. And it really stems back to my first play I ever did, which was The Wizard of Oz. I was in kindergarten, and as a kid, I had like chubby cheeks and stuff. So they made me play the lion. And from there, like, I got the acting bug. I know it sounds like crazy, but like from a school play and then throughout just like middle school, high school, I was always involved in the plays at my church, at school. And then when I got to high school, I did speech and debate, mainly speech, and was very successful in that. And then I knew I wanted to go to a HBCU, but I also knew I wanted to really pursue acting. And there were, at the time, only 2 HBCUs with a Bachelor of Fine Arts program, which means that your training would mostly be focused on the performance. And that was North Carolina A&T and Howard. And after visiting Howard, I fell in love. And of course, the alumni, the training, and the connections I made. So yeah, that's kind of essentially why I chose acting. And then I don't know where I heard this quote, but I hear it all the time now, but it's like working a career you'll love and you'll never work a day in your life. And I feel like acting, I can play a baseball player if I ever miss baseball again, or I can be a judge, a lawyer, whatever the case may be.
Love that. Love that. And as someone, I've also done like theater growing up too, so I know the beauty of it and how amazing it is, like you said, to just play different characters and
Yeah.
also go from time to different things that you loved and get to re-explore them just through
Oh, yeah.
playing different characters. So that's awesome. I love that for you. So along your journey throughout your career with acting and then also now working more so on the film and television production side of things, were there any challenges that you faced? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so a challenge actually stems back to before I got this job. I had the opportunity to interview with a few companies in LA, and I was about to move to LA and become a PA for another production office, and then COVID hit. And that was, of course, I know that's like a stereotypical challenge, but that was really tough on me because as an actor, you also don't get many opportunities to infiltrate, shall I say, production companies because they see on your resume, oh, he's an actor, he just want to come here an audition and then we're going to lose him in 2 months. So that was kind of devastating because it's like, how am I going to break into the industry? What opportunity, what person will take a chance on me? And so, as we know, COVID lasted a long time and still have effects to this day. But I was fortunate to overcome that by that cold email and staying in contact with Mama Stacy, Papa Ted, getting that encouragement, also having them review my resume, giving me critiques and just connecting me with people and really just that community. And then my two roommates, shout out to Joshua Williams and Nicholas Davidson. They were my roommates in HBC in LA. And Nick lived in LA at the time and Josh hadn't at the time, but we all stayed in contact and they were, good friends and, like my brothers now and support. So really having that foundation and family of HBC in LA outside of course, other family and friends, but, that was really beneficial to my success and to keep going forward and to land me where I'm at today.
That's amazing. I love the community piece and just how even like the little things like your roommates and everything help shape your journey. I would love to talk to you more about ECOP. I've heard you
Mhm.
speak about just your experience a little bit already, but if you wouldn't mind just going into a little bit more depth about your experience and also maybe mentioning if there were any specific mentorship resources or networking opportunities that stood out to you and that have helped shape your career where you are right now, presently.
Yeah. So when I first applied to ECOP, it was brand new, of course. So like being a part of the inaugural class, I didn't have the resource of YouTube or like video, nothing to go off of. It was like this new program to immerse HBCU students in LA. And so on a whim, of course, I applied because like I said earlier, actors don't really get the opportunity to infiltrate the industry because people automatically assume that's all you want to do. But SAG-AFTRA took a chance on me. They literally called me like um, so in the HBCU world, there's a conference called NASAP, and it's where all the student leaders go to a conference over the summer. And they called me on that Wednesday, like I arrived at NASAP, offering me the job and wanted me to start that following Monday. So luckily, of course, HBC in LA provides housing and all that. I just had to get to LA. And from there, that program changed my life. We were able to, of course, have a full-time job that was paid, but we also had the speaker series. We got to go to the talk show. We also did, of course, studio tours, network with different executives, actors, directors, producers. And from there, just really like soaking in all that information, but also staying in contact, not only with people from the program, but the people I worked with at SAG or the people that came and spoke to us. And so from there, I was able to get this opportunity, and I started here actually as the office PA. And now I'm a coordinator in our company. And that I've only been here 3 years, which is like kind of unheard of, but it speaks to the success and drive that HBCU in LA instilled in me. And then also just working here, I've met people that I knew from my internship. They're like, oh, you're in LA now. Where are you at? And like, surprised how far the program from that day they met me in the program to now to see the growth and success. And then just also seeing like other friends like, oh, I know a person here, I know a person there. And that really helped like boost momentum, boost drive as well. And then like now we have a HBC LA alumni board, which I'm fortunate to be a part of and really just trying to mend the, I guess now work life that we have with also alumni and also current interns. That's been great as well. And so that kind of mentorship aspect as well. I was a part of Collegiate 100 at Howard. And so I treated HBCU LA like that as well, like Mama Stacy and Papa Ted especially. He's like a mentor. He will coach you. He'll be tough on you. And sometimes you need that tough love, but you're also able to give that back to other interns that may be coming through the program in these coming years. And so that really in itself was kind of the mentorship aspect I relied on outside of the people that I might have met that were my bosses or, colleagues that were my senior that had been in the entertainment industry for years and years to come. And then, I hope that answered the question. I don't know. I felt like I was rambling a bit, but
No, not at all. That was a great answer. That's amazing. Just hearing you speak more about it because the inaugural cohort, you're right, there wasn't as big as a social media presence. So there were
Yeah.
no TikToks on like, hey, here's how to apply. There were no
Yes.
ECOP ambassadors that we have now. So I didn't even put that into perspective about how different that time was. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. But you are a graduate of Howard, and I would love to talk to you more about that. You touched on the program that you were involved in, but were there also any specific student orgs or courses that helped you gain really valuable skills that you feel that you're currently using in your career today?
Yeah, so I was very involved at Howard. So I kind of like underbid myself a little bit, but like I actually rechartered the Collegiate 100 back at Howard. So that was in feat itself, trying to organize an organization and bring it back to campus. So those skills were very helpful. I also was the Royal Court coordinator. And so organizing basically your colleagues, like you're not their boss, but like, man, homecoming week, establishing outfits for a royal court and then making sure everybody's on time on top of whatever classes they have. And then they're like, we're the same age. How are you telling me what to do? So like really just like those leadership skills helped out a lot. And also that was my first time managing like a budget. So, you know, you get a budget for clothing and then appearances and then organizing a schedule like, oh, Mr. and Miss Howard need to be here and this event is there. And so those skills all I still use to this day. So scheduling, understanding budgets, leadership, and personable skills like conversing with your colleagues that may be the same age as you, but you may be their senior in title or whatever the case may be. And then I'm also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. So outside of all those orgs helped shape me into who I am today, and really establish just various skills in various ways. And then as far as programs, being an actor and being in the acting program, we are a part of, you know, plays and shows. So speaking in front of people is not an issue for me. So that also helped with speaking skills, articulation, energy, whatever the case may be, knowing myself, seeing myself as an instrument and knowing how to use that. And then, like I said, I'm really involved in my faith as well. I'm a Christian, so just having that confidence in prayer that, you know, gets me through the tough days. So all those different facets of life make Jaylen who Jaylen is, and that's helped me in my career today, I would say.
Beautiful answer, beautifully said. So, would love to just talk about the entertainment industry currently as it is now. There's been a lot that's happened in the past years. We had COVID, right? And then we have
Mhm.
strike. So there's been a lot of changes. And with you being in it right now, both on the acting side and then the film and TV production side as well, what do you think you'd like to see just to see more representation in the industry and just to make it
Mhm.
more inclusive and equitable?
Yeah, so I currently work at John Wells Productions, and most people know his name from ER, West Wing, Shameless, Animal Kingdom are some of the hits. And then we currently, like you said, the industry has been hit hard from COVID, then the strikes. But we've been blessed. Like last year, we actually were in production on 4 shows. And for those 4 shows, I was able to go visit set for one of them or 2 of them, and really be involved in picking the writers, seeing the development process, seeing from pitch all the way to post production to screen. And so that has been helpful. I will say that I noticed that there is a need for diversity, as far as like not even just on actors, producers, writers, but our crews. A need for people to be in the rooms, executive staffs. Like from example, when we were pitching our shows to the different streamers, I did notice that I rarely saw another Black man that was an executive, making decisions on what shows their network would take on. And that was interesting to me because I feel like, you know, our stories, of course, matter. There's not just one streamline of stories that Black people can tell or should tell. But I think that it's not necessarily intentional always, but I think it's just kind of been the standard and the norm, and it goes over people's heads, and they don't really look at it the same way we, as people of color, would look at it. And so I feel like there needs to be a shift of, kind of like power makers or power players. I would say like right now, speaking more on the second part of the question, the industry definitely needs more people of color in power, people of color to make the decisions on what goes on the streamers and the networks. I am fortunate to work at a company that's under Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers actually has a chairwoman that's a Black woman. And so that's kind of inspiring to see a person in that position making power, but also the industry right now is so shaky, even now post fires, post strike, post COVID, is just so many things and so many opportunities that are now being taken away, and companies downsizing, not just like the shows that they make, but just even in their own company infrastructure. So I would say definitely there needs to be more of us in the room. I feel like, unfortunately, post George Floyd, when they were doing the big push for diversity in entertainment, kind of got swept under the rug, and we haven't really seen much of the benefits from that. So I would say, yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done, and they need us. You'd be surprised the conversations I have and the, unfortunately, ignorant people that you meet. So they need us.
They do. They do. That's a great answer. So we are at our last two questions, and you've mentioned so many important things just to note, and there's been so many highlights of your journey. So this is a heavy question, but
Okay.
just to prepare yourself. But when you think about your career, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Mm. Um, that's funny. Like I actually think about that a lot, like legacy, like what that means. One of the quotes that I live by is "Be the change you wish to see," and so that is kind of the legacy I would want to live or leave, is just living a life that, wow, Jaylen was the change he wished to see. So like whether it goes back to my Howard days, I saw that we needed a program like, or an organization like Collegiate 100. And I left that mark there at Howard. And now they've had many, I mean, when I first recharted it, we started like 10 people. Now there's like 100 people in it. So like making that change, or even in this program, HBCU in LA, like there's so many people in this organization that came through and now are the power makers. And in the next 5 years, we will be on the Oscar stages. We will be on the Emmy stages. We will be at the heads of Netflix or Hulu or whatever the case may be, in music, in marketing. And so for me, I would say leaving that legacy of like, oh, he made change in whatever environment he was in. And there's no bar or gauge of like success for me. Like I feel like a lot of people have this idea of, this is where I want to be, and then when they get there, they don't know where else to go. And one of the Mr. Howards that I had the fortunate opportunity to be the Royal Court coordinator over, he always used to say, like, if they don't make room or space for you to walk through the door, go through the window. And so for me, that's kind of what I envision my life and legacy is like. Wow, like I thought all this was figured out. And then Jaylen was there and he made a change and an impact. And I feel like being here, I made that impact at my company. I made that impact in HBC in LA. And I'll just continue to make impacts however I can, whether it be on stage, whether it be producing, or whatever it may be. As long as I can change and get people to think the way they see themselves in their world, that would be, beneficial to me.
Beautiful answer. Love everything you said.
Thank you.
Um, yes. So for our last question, would love to touch on Black History Month since February
Perfect.
is right around the corner.
Yeah.
Time is moving fast. Uh,
Yeah.
so I would love to ask you, when you think about Black history, what does it mean to you?
Black history, I guess, if I had to define it to me, um, would go down to some characteristics. It would be strength, um, intellect, and perseverance. I feel like if you look at all the stories and impacts and inventions and people that have made an impact, not only just in the Black community, but just on our world, those characteristics are seen throughout, whether it's, an invention that we don't even hear of or know that a Black person was there. it's crazy to see now all of these stories come out and the research come out and like, oh, this person actually invented it. This person just took the credit. But that takes some intellect to even create that idea. That takes strength to be able to stand there and withstand racism, hatred, whatever the case may be. And it takes perseverance to keep going, to keep, okay, yeah, I may not have got credit then, but my story will not be swept under the rug or covered up. And so I feel like those three characteristics is what Black history means to me. And I'm fortunate. I love being Black. Like, if God made me white or something else, no offense, I'd be sad. But, I feel like that is power in itself. But yeah, strength, intellect, and perseverance is what I would define Black history as, because no matter whatever way you look at it, we always overcome. The times are tough in when you're in the thick of it, especially now with everything going on. It seems like, oh my gosh, there's no way out, or this is going to be the worst years of my life. But we've been here before. We've been through worse. Granted, this is not the best, but strength, intellect, and perseverance will get us through this, and we'll continue to make history. So Black history is, to me, also not just a month. It's a lifestyle. It's a legacy. It's who we are. So
I love that. Strength, intellect, perseverance. Beautiful words to carry with you throughout Black History Month. And I think just throughout life and your journey. It
yeah.
was so nice talking to you, Jaylen. You shared so much wisdom. And I know when everybody hears this and sees this, they're going to benefit from it. But thank you for being so honest, so open about your journey. And
Of
also,
course.
congratulations on all your success. You're killing
Oh,
it.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you guys for even doing this and organizing this. Like I said, there was none of this when I first started. So I'm so happy to like see people have like a marketing director for HBCU and like a host on a podcast. Like all this is amazing to me just to see. And I love seeing the growth. So thank you for having me, and much success to you guys as well. And looking forward to connecting and staying in touch.
I want to thank you for joining us today and tuning in to another episode of HBCU in Entertainment. If this episode resonated with you, please comment, rate, and review the podcast. Your feedback means the world. Until next time, we appreciate you for lending us your ears. Catch you in the next episode.